This video is going to be about why you should be selective when you are taking coding assessments, or selective about which companies you choose to take the coding assessments for. Now, recently, over the past, I'll say 3 weeks, I have had 3 interviews. Now, I want to tell you about them briefly so you understand why I'm saying what I'm saying, so that you can be prepared for all different kinds of things, especially if you are new to tech. You have no idea for some of the stuff you'll come in contact with. Don't be scared, but hey. Okay, so my first interview. Now, this position first, like I said, anybody who know me or anybody who've even watched my channel, you know I want to be a data engineer. Everybody should know this by now. Say it with me, data engineer. That's what I want to be. So this particular position was a data integration engineer. I was like, okay, I was already a little, apprehensive about it just because of that. So I read the job description, poorly written job description, another indicator, but hey, that's the recruiter. The job spoke about using a ETL tool, and I was thinking, okay, I think I have a good idea what this position is. But this particular position, they wanted you to learn PHP because they were working with a lot of customers that have legacy systems. If you're into data systems and things, you should know what that is. Old systems from 30 years old or plus, that's what we're talking about. So they have some old legacy systems, I guess, that still use PHP, and they wanted someone to learn this. Now, I don't have a problem with learning new things, but that was one of my issues. But let's get back to the coding assessment, because this was my main issue. So I interviewed with the manager, had a great connection with the manager. I did see some red flags on some other things, even with the manager. But at this point, I was still going to go forward with it just a little bit further, just for fun, to see what was going to happen next. So next was the coding part of that, I guess. So they emailed me a coding assessment. Now, I had previously spoken with the manager. So the manager had already told me what the problem the company was having as far as data. They wanted me to look at this PHP script and tell them what was wrong with it and what would I do better. Now, this is a script that I'm sure they're probably currently using. So I'm thinking to myself 2 things. The job doesn't require you to know PHP because they say they want you to learn it. And you're already assessing me on PHP, in which you know that I don't know. So you want me to spend my time looking up a programming language I don't know, and on top of that, be able to tell you what's wrong with the script. They wanted me to look at this script, and I'm sure they were using it currently, and they wanted me to solve or me to come up with some solutions or things to try and you haven't even hired me. This was the weirdest assessment ever. At this point, I couldn't even allow myself, just out of respect for myself, to be played like that. I'm not about to solve your problems unless you pay me or hire me to solve your problem. This is what they have 90-day probation, people. Don't let people do that to you. Don't let them give you these assessments solving all their problems for free. That's what you hire people to do. You need to work for a company who knows how to assess your technical skills. So this was all, like, they giving me so many red flags. On top of that, I didn't get a good idea. I didn't get a good feel that the manager would even know how to properly assess performance, which is another major red flag. So let's throw this interview to the side and I'll tell you about another one. So I went on another interview. It was a hot season for me, you know what I'm saying? I was interviewing left and right. So I went on another interview, and this interview was with a big organization. So I'm thinking, okay, this is good. Made it through round 1, great interview with the manager, great connection. So the manager's like, okay, well, the next step, we're gonna have you talk to a person in that, a manager in whatever technical department. Now, let me explain this. The role was data engineer, supposedly. But upon speaking to the manager, it wasn't going to be data engineer. It was going to be a consultant, like a mediator between the data scientists and the data engineers. If that makes sense, that's what they said, okay? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you're going to give me the title, and that's cool if I get this job, but I'm not going to get the full experience of a data engineer. That was my first red flag. So they told me that I was supposed to be taking the assessment with someone. I'm thinking this is going to be a laid back assessment with maybe a phone call, or maybe even a Teams meeting with someone from their team, and we were going to go through some technical questions. That's what it appeared like to me. So all of a sudden I get this meeting invite request for some coder platform, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, this is a serious coding exam, right? So I'm thinking to myself, well, how bad do you want it? And when I thought about the role being that consultant type role, and I'm like, I'm not really trying to, I want to be a data engineer. I don't want to be playing around and playing all these games and sitting back and watching all the data engineers do all the stuff that I know how to do. I just was like, nah, I'm not going to do this. So this is when it hit me that I'm going to be more selective about taking coding assessments. I reached out to them and I told them that, I just kind of backed out of it, withdraw my application. It just didn't feel right. So definitely go by what you feel. Okay, so let me tell you about the third interview I went on, and it wasn't like any of those other two. It was very laid back. It was more ideal for me. Okay, so I went on another interview with a really great organization, and I interviewed with at least 4 people. The manager, and then the second and third interview were with people actually on the team. It was a data engineer, and then there was a data engineer, then an associate data engineer. Interviewed with both. At the end of the interview, they both asked me at least 4 or 5 technical questions. Answered those questions, great connection, and I'm still waiting back that was just like a week and a half ago. And my final interview with that organization was last Friday. So I'm still, because of the holidays, I'm still in the loop. I'm still in the game as far as I know with that one. That is more ideal for me. Test me. I'm not against my technical skills being tested. I am not against it. I just like organizations who don't waste my time, and organizations who seem to know what they're looking for. And like I said, to bring questions and I don't care if you say, okay, well, write down a SQL query or something, but have an idea of what you want. These companies tend to have a great idea of what they want, because they want you to be able to come in and pretty much, so to speak, hit the ground running. So they want to test you on specific things. A lot of times when they have these general coding assessments, they don't really know what they want you to really come in doing. And I wasn't going to take a assessment for a role that wasn't really the direct role. I wasn't about to be a consultant applying for a data engineer job. No, I came to be a data engineer, and that is what I will be doing, whether it's with your company or somebody else's, one way or the other. So the moral of all of this is, people, don't be afraid to say no. It could just simply be no. You don't have to be, rude about it, but have respect for yourself. Don't let these companies just have you all over the place. Don't let them have you doing coding assessments to help fix their current problems without them hiring you. That's what they have 90-day probation periods for that. Don't fall for all the mess. And I'm kind of like side-eyeing a lot of the recruiters, because the recruiters don't care. They just care that they get someone in those positions. Especially, I feel like it's especially because it's the end of the year going into the new year. So that is the moral of this story. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to share all my stories with you guys, because I just want all of this to be out there, and I want you to know, especially those who are new to tech, I want you to know what you are getting into. The technical jobs are fun once you get the right job for you. Just hang in there. like I will, I'll hang in there. I'll keep interviewing until I get the right job. All right. So till next time, peace.